Hello, my beautiful YouTube family. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Misty, and I want to take a moment and say thank you for taking time out of your busy lives to click on and watch this video. It truly, truly means the world to me. I know I say that with every video, and I probably sound like a broken record, but I am so very grateful to each and every one of you. Today, I am doing 3 different looks with the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. My friend at work, Mary, thank you, Mary, for letting me use your palette, lent this to me so that I could try it. This is an 18 pan palette. I'll get up here so you can see what it looks like. Now, with that being said, this is a eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette. Thus, there are some shades that you cannot use around the immediate eye area. Pigments can cause eye irritation and staining. I have not experienced any of those things with any of my other pigments, nor with this palette, but please be advised that can happen. And since this is a palette with multiple reds in it, it is cruelty-free and vegan. Thus, that means that there is red dye in the shadows. And this palette retails for $52. You can purchase it off Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and Beautylish also sells this palette as well. I did do 3 different looks. This one will be the 3rd look. The other 2 are more vibrant type colors, and then I wanted to finish it off with something more neutral and everyday. Anyway, stay tuned for those looks. I'm going to dip into the shade Tongue Pop. I've already primed my eyes with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. This is a really pretty color. I am using my 785 tapered blending from Delium Tools. Now I'm going to dip into the shade right below Tongue Pop into Cherry Soda. I am going directly into the crease. That is pretty. And it went slightly below the crease as well. That's fine. It's more vibrant than I thought it was going to be, which isn't a bad thing. Now with my Delium 773 shading blender brush, I'm going into the shade Fresh Meat. I am going to apply that to the outer portion of my lid. That is a very pretty vibrant color as well. With my Chanel number 26 brush, I am going to dip into the shade Coma. Outer V this time. I'm going to grab my Look See 231 brush again, and I want to mix these two. Get them blended. With my finger, I am going to go into the shade Candy Floss. That is a really pretty color. And I'm patting that on the inner half of my lid. I'm using my 773 shader brush again, and this time I'm going to dip into Extraction. Now with my 776 blending, I'm going to dip into Glucose, very top shade. I'm diffusing the harsh lines. With my finger again, I'm dipping into Glucose. With my Milk Makeup Boss Liner, I'm going to put this on my bottom lash waterline. And again, with my 773 shader, I'm going to dip into Fresh Meat. I'm wiping off the excess of the Fresh Meat, and I am going to go into the shade Tongue Pop again. Blending this in right below the Fresh Meat color. With my Ciate London Fierce Flicks liner, I'm going to place this on my lid. I'm going to go in with my Hourglass Caution Mascara. Okay, and then here is the finished look using the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. More of a bold look than I normally would wear. However, with that being said, I would wear this out. I am going to use a Royal & Langnickel brush. It does not have a name on it. I bought this a long time ago. I am going to be dipping into the shade Tongue Pop again. And I am going to be placing it at my crease and slightly above. With my Look See 221 brush, I am going to go into the shade Prick. This one I am putting in the crease. my Delium 773 brush, I am dipping into the shade Blood Sugar. That is highly pigmented. I am placing this. Oh, it's pretty. I am going to place this all over the lid. With that same brush, I'm going to use the other side and dip into the glucose shade. And I'm placing that on the inner portion. Now I'm going into the shade Sweetner with that same brush, with the side I used glucose on. Placing this right in the middle of my lid. I'm going to dip into Blood Sugar again. I like that color. With my finger, I'm going to go into Candy Floss. Royal Nickel brush. Again, I don't have the name. I'm going to dip into the shade Coma. It's this really pretty purple one. And just adding some depth to the outer V. I'm going to use my Luxie 221 brush again. All I'm doing is just blending inwards. And with that original Royal Nickel that I used for my crease, I'm going to use that again and dip into glucose. Back into Tongue Pop. I don't want any harsh lines, so use my Lancome Black Coffee eyeliner. And with my Royal Nickel brush, I'm going to dip into the shade Blood Sugar. And then into Coma. Okay, I'm going to do my eyeliner and mascara off camera, as I seem to have issues with that. And here is the finished look. I'm going to do more of a neutral everyday look with this Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. First, I'm going to dip into the shade Sugarcane. I am going to be using my Luxie 250 brush. I am going into the crease and slightly above. Now with a Luxie 221 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Cake Mix. It's this shade right here. I'm putting that directly into the crease. And now with my Delium Tools 777 brush, I'm dipping into the shade Ouch. I'm going to place this on my lid. Towards the outer part of the eye. And actually I changed my mind. I'm going to put it over the entirety of the lid. With a Slim Miss Glam brush. It's a it's a T35. It's an Ipsy brush. I'm going back into Cake Mix. I just want to darken up right there. And then back to that Luxie 250 brush, dipping into Sugarcane again. This is just going to go right above. With my Luxie 231, I'm dipping into the shade Intravenous. Outer V. Going back in with this Luxie brush that I used originally. All I want to do is just blend that darker shade inward. And with my Luxie 246 brush, I'm going to dip into the shade Donor. It's this pretty gold right there. Right in the middle of my eyes where I'm placing that. And then with the other side of that brush, I'm going to dip into the shade Sweetner. And we'll go right above and right next to Donor. I'm just wiping that down on a towel, and I'm going to dip into Glucose. And that is just going to go right the inner portion of the eye. Using that same brush, dipping back into Glucose, going right under the eye. With my Delium 780 pencil brush, I'm going into the shade Cake Mix again, placing that on the lash line. Now with Intravenous, that dark shade, I'm going to dip into it with the Luxie 246 brush again. Just on the very, very tip of that brush. I'm going right under my lash line again. With my Hank and Henry Blickety Black liner, I'm going to line right at the lash line off camera. And for my mascara, I am going to use the Estee Lauder Sumptuous Extreme. And I did put Lancome's Black Coffee on my waterline. So here is the finished look. I do like the way that this turned out. What are my thoughts and opinions on Jeffree Star's palette Blood Sugar? I really like it. The quality is great. The pigment is fantastic. It's a unique color story. I honestly don't have a lot of these colors in my collection. Am I going to buy it? I am probably going to buy my own Blood Sugar palette. I know that he's very controversial. I have some issues with things he's done in his past as well. I don't want to discredit him with the quality of this palette. I am very grateful that my friend Mary, thank you Mary, lent this to me to try. It's wonderful. It is a wonderful, wonderful palette, and I did 3 looks, and there are so many different other looks that I can do with this. Anyway, be sure to like this video. I would appreciate that greatly. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I have the best YouTube family, bar none, not kidding. Leave some comments down below, questions, concerns, constructive criticism, suggestions for upcoming videos, things like that. I do read my comments. I do look forward to my comments, and I love interacting with each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed these looks, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Much love.